Imagine you are standing on a vast plain. Mountains, rivers, trees, smoke billowing in the distance, like smoke from someone's cooking stove. But there are no Europeans here. No gunfire. No white flag. This is America before 1492. Those who are here are the true children of this land, a civilization that has merged with nature, whose voice is almost lost today. Life began here thousands of years before Europeans ever saw what we know today as the New World of America. Their history is not just about war. It is also a wonderful epic of agriculture, star maps, art, mathematics, religion, and the struggle for survival. Today, we will open the door to that lost story, where the real story of America is hidden. Footprints of the first people, about 20,000 years ago. During the last ice age, some people from Asia crossed a bridge of ice to Alaska. It is called the Bering Land Bridge. They did not know then that they were entering a new continent in history. They gradually spread across North, Central, and South America. These people were hunter-gatherers. Over time, they learned to cultivate crops like corn, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, and beans changed their lives. With agriculture, settlements were born. Settlements became villages, and villages became civilizations. Tribes and Confederacy of North America. There were hundreds of tribes in the North American continent. Some lived in forests, some in deserts, and some in icelands. Their societies were built around nature. For example, the Iroquois Confederacy was an alliance of 6 nations. They held a consultative meeting among themselves. Many historians say that their democratic structure later gave rise to some ideas of the United States Constitution. To the west were the Pueblo people, who built massive mud brick buildings. Their dwellings can still be seen at the site called Mesa Verde. And to the north, in the icy regions, the Inuit people hunted whales, built igloos, and conquered harsh weather. Wonders of Mesoamerica. Maya and Aztecs. Now we move on to Mexico and Central America, where true civilization was born. Maya civilization, 2000 BC to 1500 AD. The Maya were not just farmers. They were astronomers. They calculated the movements of the sun, moon, and planets to create a calendar that was more accurate than the European calendar. Their cities Tikal, Chichén Itzá, were filled with pyramids, temples, and palaces. The Maya believed that maintaining a balance between humans and gods is a sacred duty. They wrote their history in hieroglyphics, carving the names of battles and kings on stone. Their civilization mysteriously collapsed, perhaps due to drought, civil war, or lack of resources. But their knowledge has endured forever. Aztec Empire 1325 to 1521. The Aztecs rose to power in the Valley of Mexico hundreds of years after the Mayan collapse. They were once warrior nomads, but over time they built a great city called Tenochtitlan on the site of present-day Mexico City. The city was like a floating island with bridges, markets, pyramids, and palaces. The Aztecs believed that blood was needed to appease the sun god, so they performed religious sacrifices. Their society was organized. Their calendar, market system, and even their education system were remarkably advanced. When the Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés arrived in 1519, the Aztec Empire was at its peak, but European diseases, guns, and treachery quickly led to their downfall. Inca Empire, children of the mountains. Now let's move on to South America, where the Inca Empire grew up along the Andes Mountains. Cusco was their capital, and the king was the Sapa Inca, who was said to be a descendant of the sun god. The Incas built thousands of kilometers of stone roads through the mountains without using wheels. They grew crops like wheat, potatoes, and quinoa. Their most famous structure is Machu Picchu, which is still one of the 7 wonders of the world. Their society was highly organized. In each village, there were administrators, farmers, soldiers, and priests, all with specific jobs. There was no money, but a system of work in exchange for work, the meta system. When the Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro arrived in 1533, the Inca Empire was embroiled in civil war. He seized the empire, the story of European arrival and fall. When Columbus arrived in the New World in 1492, America was not new. It was a world that was thousands of years old. But the arrival of the Europeans changed everything. Disease, guns, and slavery destroyed those ancient civilizations. Millions of natives died, villages were destroyed, and cultures disappeared. Yet, this story is not just one of destruction, it is also one of survival. Even today, peoples in various parts of America, such as the Maya, Inca, Navajo, and Cherokee, retain their languages, costumes, music, and rituals. They remind us that American history began not in 1776, but thousands of years ago. Conclusion. The real America, when we talk about American history, we usually hear the names of George Washington or Columbus. But real history began long before that, on the day of the sowing of maize seeds, when people learned to count time by the stars in the sky, when they honored the earth, the sun, and water as gods. The real story of America is that of the people who built civilization before European ships ever saw it. Their stories may be covered in dust today, but their footprints remain on every mountain, every river, and every grain of sand, waiting for us to hear them. Did you know that long before Columbus's ships ever touched the horizon, a massive, thriving civilization existed in North America? I'm not talking about small tribes, but a sprawling city, bigger than London was at the time, right here in what we now call the United States. This was Cahokia, the heart of a vast network of mound-building cultures that stretched across the continent. Imagine pyramids taller than those in Egypt, not of stone, but of earth, reaching for the sky in the Mississippi Valley. This was a world of complex trade routes, advanced agriculture, and sophisticated social structures. So, what happened to this lost America? Why did it vanish? Let's dig into the story of a civilization that history almost forgot. If you're fascinated by hidden histories like this, make sure to follow for more incredible stories from our past.